Boris Johnson was the subject of frantic phone calls from the US and Chinese governments, offering to provide treatment when he was in intensive care with coronavirus. Mr. Johnson has now left intensive care with a No. 10 spokesman confirming he is able to take short walks in between periods of rest. However, on Monday night, as the Prime Minister was in intensive care, Beijing and Washington fought to provide him what the treatment he needed, according to the Mail on Sunday. U.S. President Donald Trump told Fox News, "We had the drug companies contact his doctors at the hospital in London, and they're talking right now." The White House did call St. Thomas's Hospital but did not speak to Mr. Johnson's team, it is understood. Instead, they were directed to the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. An NHS source claimed, the switchboard. First the White House rings and offers to send drugs to treat the PM, then a series of Chinese firms call on behalf of their government also offering to send drugs. These offers were declined. A No. 10 source said, "We're confident the Prime Minister is receiving the best possible care from the National Health Service." Mr. Johnson tested positive for coronavirus on March 27. Announcing the news, he said his symptoms were mild and he was to follow self-isolation measures. Shortly after, Health and Social Care Secretary Matt Hancock also announced he had tested positive. Mr. Hancock has, however, since recovered. Mr. Johnson went to hospital after his symptoms persisted, and spent time in intensive care, leaving on Thursday. Foreign Secretary, Dominic Raab has been designated as First Secretary of State. Though, often a symbolic role, the position can act as a de facto deputy prime. Mr. Raab has been given the power to deputize for Mr. Johnson when necessary. The next in the line of succession should Mr. Raab become incapacitated is Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rishi Sunak. Several politicians around the world have tested positive for coronavirus, but Mr. Johnson is the most high-profile head of government. On March 19, it was announced that Prince Albert II of Monaco was the first head of state to test positive, though he announced on March 31 he had recovered. The news of Beijing and Washington's attempt comes as experts warned of China's attempts to use diplomatic efforts to deflect any blame it may receive over the virus. China is the largest producer of ventilators, masks and respirators around the world. Charles Parton, a former British diplomat, accused China of using diplomatic offers of support as a deep propaganda campaign. According to official figures, China's infections are decreasing.